Okay, so Iron Fist is a flanker duelist. He also works well as a brawler, but if you learn how to flank, you should be able to easily figure out when and how to brawl instead of flanking. Well, I already have to update this. The second half of Season 1 just came out, and Iron Fist got, I think, the biggest change in the whole roster dispatch, completely changing his playstyle. At least that's how it seems right now. I saw this patch and couldn't believe my eyes, bruh. I had to hop on the game for the day to try him out, and I hit Celestial after going 11-2 on as much Iron Fist as I could get whenever I wasn't getting target banned. Bro, I even hid my name and they were still catching me, man. But anyway, that goes to say that Iron Fist feels pretty good so far. I'm gonna be referencing my guide a bunch in this video. Everything I talked about in it is still relevant to learn. This video isn't to replace it, but rather to go off of what we already know and learn to change playstyles. So make sure to go watch it to get the full message and everything you need to know. I've linked it on the top right of your screen now. Alright, let me go over the changes real quick. His main attack took a hit, going from roughly 78 DPS to 69, nice. And his strong attack serves a different purpose, going from 19 damage per hit to 10 flat damage plus 1.7% of the opponent's max health per hit. So against the 250 HP target, it's all the way down to 14.25 damage per hit or 99.75 DPS from the previous 133 DPS. However, against a Venom for instance, who has 800 HP, you're doing 23.6 per hit or 165 DPS. And yes, overhealth does count towards max health. I tested it on Big Form Reed to be sure. But wait, you know where we got to compensate? The 1 second cooldown reduction on parry per hit is now 1.5, bro. Parry's cooldown is an urban legend now. Imagine my feeling looking at a good set of patch notes as a Genji main. I yearned for this shit my whole life. What does this all mean? Let's keep going before I get to the explanation. You might start connecting the dots. The health gain from his heal ability was buffed from 50 to 150, but now starts decaying in just a second, and is fully depleted by 7 seconds. The parry's max health gained was buffed from 150 to 200, and his base health went from 250 to 300. Yeah, man. So, assuming his health cap was raised accordingly, Iron Fist now starts every prepped fight with 450 HP, and can reach a maximum of 700 HP, theoretically. Bro, that's the 5th highest HP in the game, dog. Now, with both the damage changes and the survivability changes in mind, what do you think Iron Fist will be spending most of his time doing? Right, it's not diving Luna anymore, it's signing a temporary employment contract with James Logan Howlett, aka Senior Permaband, because tank players can only think of themselves, formerly known as Wolverine. Sorry. You're gonna be brawling. The shit I said Iron Fist can do before, but now that's definitely what you should do. Remember how I said if you learn a flank, you should be able to figure out brawling? That's because what a flanker does to the backline, a brawler does to the front line. I sound like I'm waffling, but hear me out. In my last guide, I went over how a consistent flanker must follow some rules, like engagement timing, kill box, the video's coming, I promise, and engagement selecting. Well, all of these are just as important to a brawler and easier to follow at a lower risk. Now, it's very rare that you find a brawler that isn't a tank, because a brawler is made up of high health, at least moderate mobility, and high consistent, not burst, damage. Typical tank traits. Well, Iron Fist now ticks those boxes, and ticks even less flanker assassin boxes than he did before. So the change in role is strict and intentional by the devs. Okay, how do you actually brawl? Again, same concepts from the last guide. You just tweak it to be on the front line just as much as the back line now. So, to keep it simple, pay attention to your team comp as well as the enemies. If your team's playing dive or the enemy has a particularly defenseless backline, then you're still gonna be flanking like you were before. Iron Fist's even arguably better at that too this patch. But now because Iron Fist is practically a tank buster, if your team has enough or too much dive, say Venom Spidey, then you'll be in charge of melting the tank when his supports are too occupied with 19 inches and a concussion. This is like wireless engagement timing with your Venom. But what if you have no dive at all, like Strange Magneto? Well, now you can be the Venom. Seriously, you just flip your role. You know the way Venom takes the support's attention so you can kill tank? You'll be taking the support's attention so your team can kill tank. And how do you do that consistently? Yeah, you guessed it, Dr. Reed Nathaniel Richards. It's engagement timing. But wait, Mr. Dr. Professor Jawny, there's no dive teammate for me to time with. Alright, so who or what are you timing with? I'll give you a second to guess. For real. You got it? If you guessed your tank, then enjoy the mellow ranks, because regurgitating information is not learning. You're actually timing with their tank. Think about it. When you time your engagement with a friendly Venom on a Luna, what is the purpose of it? Right, splitting her focus, along with other things. So when you don't have a backline diving presence with you, like Venom or Cap or Hulk, who will you be sharing the enemy backline's attention with? Their tank that possibly just went into your team to try to do the same thing, and would need a lot of heals to do it. So, under whatever circumstance, if you manage to split a strategist's attention between you and their tank, and survive, you're doing your job correctly as the flanker. And if your teammate is the flanker, and successfully splits the strategist's attention, and you kill tank for that, you're doing your job correctly as the brawler. That's the main thing to take from this change. But now we'll give like a short list to highlight key points on what you're keeping and what you're changing from last season. Number 1, you're fighting tanks a lot more than you were before. 2, you're using your heal right before an engage, rather than as early as you want. 3, using parry before fighting a squishy is now absolutely banned! 4, using parry before fighting a tank is now pretty reasonable, but please take their threat to you into account. For example, if it's a Gamma team-up Strange you're fighting, you have to bait or read and parry his explosive wave because of its sheer damage. But if it's a Groot, you want to do as much damage as possible from the start, so you pre-parry. 5. You can still use the same combos from before on squishies. Our damage was nerfed, but not our breakpoints. It's still 5 hits and a kick on Luna, and so on from last video. Just note that any amount of healing on your target will now cause the combo to not kill. 6. You're also still aiming to be the secondary threat to any target, if what you want isn't just to force a cooldown. Iron Fist got health buffs, but he's still not a tank, so don't get cocky. And 7, finally, your kick is now just as reasonably used for burst as it is for escape. You're now far more capable of getting out of situations without it, so using it for damage is not such a risky play anymore, but more a genuine 50-50 decision between the two uses. And yeah, that's it. Honestly, that's about all that you need to know about the new Iron Fist. Again, if you want to know the concepts that make up a good Iron Fist player, make sure to check out the in-depth guide I made. Also rip B-Hop. You can still do it, but man is it inconsistent now. You'll have to relearn the timing. Here's what I know now. Attack closer to the ground than before, and delay the jump quite a bit more than before. You can see that I'm actually failing a few jumps in the clip playing right now, so it'll take more practice than the old version. Anyway, I think that'll be it for this update guide thingy. I hope it served its purpose, and don't let people tell you this rework was bad. Some may find him less fun than before, and I get that, but Iron Fist has a real place in the game now, and the game is still young and very susceptible to change, so don't be discouraged. Good luck, and inshallah I'll talk to you soon. Salam.